Sometimes at first glance, a blade kind of leaves you scratching your head. But once you start to use it, you can appreciate its design intricacies, even if it's not going to become like your dedicated EDC. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another blade review here at Gideonstactical. I am Aaron, hanging with you guys today. And I have a really unique one today that we don't see a whole lot of, but that I used extensively and really became to appreciate. And it's the Lionsteel, right there. Italian sheath, we'll get to that a little bit later. Wilson or Willy. Look at this little guy. Really interesting. I was really kind of scratching my head. This just happened to show up one day as a gear reviewer. You know, sometimes you just have stuff show up and you're like, okay, let's see what this does. I didn't even know this was around or a thing. And what we have is an Italian-made M390, 2.5 inch or 6.5 centimeter long blade. We have about the same in kind of partial handle. This is not ivory, even though this looks like it. There's like 8 different handle combinations and colors. This is actually a white micarta, but it kind of looks like ivory, which is really cool. Now, the story behind this knife is that some of the guys who work over at Lionsteel hung out at a bar, and that owner, or one of the guys that worked there, had basically made his own knife, is my understanding, and it was this kind of profile. And after they saw it, and he just carried it all the time, used it all the time, they were like, you know what, let's make a manufactured version of that, you know, and kind of get it out to the masses. And that's what this kind of comes from. And when I first saw it and got it, I was like, I don't know how I feel about that. The blade shape, for sure. It's a full flat grind on 0.16, 0.16 thick stock there. It was actually extremely slicey with that really nice gradual drop point, giving a lot of precision. The grind geometry really worked well. That's the first thing that I noticed. I was like, okay, this blade slices very well for being kind of a thicker stock, but tapering to that tip. The precision, the nimbleness. I mean, I was going through some heavy stuff, and I was really pleased that I wasn't bogging down because of that kind of thicker stock. And obviously the M390 holding a ridiculous edge. Now, M390 is not easy to resharpen, so just take that in consideration. But it is a premium steel that will hold its edge for a very long period of time, and it's a stainless. And so knives of this size, I prefer better edge retention. You know, they might not be as durable, but I'm not using like a 10-inch machete. 10-inch machetes can be really impact resistant. You know, maybe tool steels, as we've seen recently, like MagnaCut is mind-blowing in that. But with this will hold its edge better than MagnaCut, but it'll take a little bit to resharpen. So really just the blade itself did what a compact 2.5 inch, you know, fixed blade should do. And what was really surprising, and they call it their, what do they call it? They call it their solid technology. I don't know. You see there's no seaming or pins or anything to keep the tang in there. Now this is a titanium collar. And the tang, here's my little magnet, it holds it right there. I don't know if the tang goes in further. It does get a lot bigger with the handle. So I don't know where the tang stops. And I watched like 5 videos. I couldn't figure out what the solid technology does, but it's a very solid attachment point. And I didn't have any sort of wobbling, rocking. I mean, it's 2.5 inches. What are you going to be doing with this thing in the sense of like slamming it through wood and like survival level stuff? But it has a really unique handle, and that's really what I want to get to, because that will either make or break it, because it obviously affects styling and ergonomics. A blade can cut all day, but if it doesn't feel good in the hand, that's really going to, you know, be detrimental to its usability. But I do want to invite you guys to like and subscribe if you haven't yet. Click the bell icon so you can be notified every week when I put up new videos like this, introducing, you know, pieces of gear maybe that you're not familiar with, or just unpacking stuff that maybe helps you determine like, okay, I was on the fence on that, and I'm not really going to go with that, or that's absolutely what I want to do. That's my goal in every single video that I create here. Now, I'm sure like you guys, I got tired of trying to stay hydrated on trail. Well, Hardside Hydration has come up with an excellent solution, giving us their swig rig and ultralight swig rig system, attaching to any rigid water bottle a hands-free straw, allowing you to stay hydrated without having to worry about all the problems that come with a water bag and bladder and all the headache of taking in and out a water bottle out of your pockets. And I really appreciate what Dane and Dustin, the founders of this American-based company, have come up with. Myself, many of my friends and family have totally transitioned over to hard side hydration systems when we're out exploring, camping, backpacking, hiking, whatever it is. And I invite you guys to check them out as well. I have a link popping up as well as in the description box below this video, along with my exclusive 10% off promo code that you can apply towards your purchase. So I invite you guys, check them out and stay hydrated on all of your adventures. So now to this really interesting handle, and look at that. I mean, even though it's micarta, it looks like wood, and you can get some wood options. I think they have carbon fiber. There's a lot, going on there. It gives me 3 fingers right there. And, there's a lot of 3-fingered knives that are out there, and it's really going to be how full does it feel, and can you transfer your downward pressure from your wrist as you're pushing through a cut into the knife to then do it, or is it so thin or so awkward or so sharp that it's uncomfortable and not good to use? It's like magic. I don't know, whatever Willy was doing when he designed this little handle for himself, it has transferred really surprisingly well. I can push like at a 45-degree angle and it feels amazing. It felt really good. None of my fingers floated. And my pinky on this completely rounded like butt cap right there was even able to push some, pressure this way, pushing into the blade. And so it kind of cupped my finger. So yes, it is still a 3-finger knife, and I wear large size gloves, 3.25 inches across the palm right there. But I could get the work done. Now, do I prefer a full handle? Here's a CRKT. Look at that. That's full handled, full grip. American made. This is the solid. I can't remember. I haven't done a full review on this yet, but I'll have that popping up there if you're interested in that. I prefer that. So if you're going to put either of these down ergonomically, I would I'd choose this most of the time. But for such a tiny, just unique. So if you're into uniqueness, this will absolutely give you a very unique feel and full control over the blade. And it's so compact. The overall length is going to be 6 inches, which is about like 15.5 centimeters ballpark. Just kind of giving you guys like a ballpark idea right there. So really unique, and it's bulbous, kind of odd, but it accomplishes the task. So it wouldn't be my first choice of elegance, but it is a really high performer for such a tiny little blade. Now, before I run in 1 or 2 competitive options, just some food for thought here. Not USA, Italian-made leather sheath right here. You could pocket carry this. They really designed this well. You could just throw this in your pocket. Now, obviously, then you would have to pull it out, disengage. But it has this little button snap right there. They even cut out that to really hold the, knife into place. And they have put a slit back here for your belt. So that's really nice. And I guess maybe, could we do this? You could probably figure out a way to tuck the extra flap through that leather or, do something. If you just wanted to pocket carry this, you'd still have the stud, but then there is just enough tension to hold it in, but you could pull it out because of the cup right there. So there's some workarounds there. Righty only in that, in the belt configuration, but a really elegant little piece and just unique. So if you are into, and you have maybe blade restrictions, you want to try something unique and different, DLT Trading has this for like $155 for Italian made M390 steel. Not outrageous. $155 for that. Just to give you some food for thought here, in similar sizing, about the same blade length, previously reviewed here, the Reef knives, and it's actually going to be thinner with a lower saber grind, but the Reef knives F3, longer, more natural, just organic handle. That's going to fill out my hand completely, give you, 90-degree spine there. Definitely an excellent tool, 3V or Magna Cut, between like $245 and $265. So you're going to pay more and you're going to get a Kydex sheath. There are leather sheath options that are excellent. So, for me personally, this is going to be, if we're talking these type of tools, more the design I'm going to gravitate to for most scenarios. But that's going to be significantly more, as I showed you that CRK2T. Another one that kind of came to my mind is the smaller, I believe it's the 662 variant of this in the buck. Alpha series. Now they have so many variants now. You get the 420 HC, the S35 VN version, which would be around 180. And then you can also get a MagnaCut version, which I think is like 220. Now, the fit and finish is much better on the Lionsteel than on the Buck. I love you, Buck. Fit and finish could go up a little bit. It's not horrific, but like grinding isn't perfectly symmetrical, you know, and stuff. Leather sheaths and Kydex sheaths as options. The 662 is the smaller version of this and almost the same size as this guy. That is what came to my mind if you want to look like more of an outdoorsy kind of focus, because I would not take this camping or whatever. But, you know, if you're just sitting on the porch whittling and you're using it as a utility knife and all the different things, there is some interest, and it's just, I mean, it's just very interesting. It's a very interesting piece. The Willy design, I think Wilson was the guy's name, so that's why they put it on there. So I mean, it's an attribute to a very unique but very functional, very easy to manipulate. I mean, pinch pull, yeah. It's there come times where it almost doesn't give you words to say. So like you don't have words to really describe it, and this would definitely be something like get it in your hand and feel it. That would be a really interesting piece. And leave a comment if you own one of these. And how do you use it? How has it been performing for you? Is it kind of like a unique conversation starter or like the workhorse of your collection? That I would love to know, and I'm sure the viewers would as well. Appreciate you guys hanging with me today. Kind of on this interesting little dive into a knife that's not really talked about a lot, but brings something very unique to the EDC fixed blade arena. And shout out to you, Willy, if you're still using yours. Would love to see like the original design. Maybe it's floating around somewhere. So appreciate you guys. Check out the other video popping up. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Until next time, always remember, stay equipped, stay prepared. See you out there.